The youngster who stuttered so badly that his classmates called him the alien finally became a global favorite comic. However, Rowan Atkinson's voyage transformation required huge sacrifices. His stutter disappeared totally when he performed on stage. That he merely submerged himself in a role. At that moment, point one being experience exhausted him emotionally and physically. He claimed the persona depleted his energies to the point where he only wanted the last day of filming should arrive fast. The man who made millions giggle said he sometimes felt like an imposter. He finally admitted his childhood wounds at 70 shape his life nearly entirely. Now that modest comedian Hashes found his voice to speak his life tale. Rowan Sebastian Atkinson was born in a small County Durham hamlet on January 6, 1955. England, the youngest of four brothers. But a tragedy happened earlier, aged enough to understand. Paul, his oldest brother, died when he left three brothers as a child. One, Rodney, eventually became an economist and nearly led the UKIP in 2000. Rowan grew up on the family farm, a tranquil, orderly place. Life. Ironically, he became famous for loud, stupid things. Roles. Around 5, Rowan had a significant stammer. Speaking fluently proved difficult for the boy, making education harder. He endured brutal bullying at Durham Chester School. Once Canon John Grove worked at the school, vividly remembers a quiet, stern-faced boy. Stuttering persisted. Some classmates called him alien-like. He was teased for his speech and appearance. Rowan spent much of the time alone. During that time, Tony Blair was a student that later became UK Prime Minister. Tony Blair, 2 years younger, Rowan remembers his suffering. Bullying was so rampant that in 2007 it was mentioned in The Independent. Yet another marvel happened. Every time Rowan performed, his stammer erased. Completely. Stage performance was effortless for him. He discovered his talent after those terrible years. Despite bullying, Rowan succeeded academically. He got the best science A-level results and got into Newcastle University in 1973. He studied electrical and electronic engineering at 18. Everyone believed his future was in engineering or science, not comedy. That he graduated at 20 in 1975. After that, he followed his father. He pursued a master's at Queen's College, Oxford. His MSc was in self-adjusting systems, a challenging field. Control systems. He started a PhD but stopped because he felt uncomfortable. Clearly in the opposite direction. Professor Chris Robson taught one time. Rowan stated he was average in class. Once on stage, he changed completely. That was the moment. Change started. While in Oxford in 1975, Rowan joined ECRA and the Drama Club. He met young writer Richard Curtis at this time. Meeting that changed their lives. Richard first saw Rowan perform during an early 1976 rehearsal. At first, he noticed simply a shy, awkward-looking young man stood in a corner. Richard was enthralled when Rowan started performing. Driving sketch by Rowan mixed spoken and physical comedy. Richard said it was a true genius. August 1976 saw Rowan perform with Oxford Review at Edinburgh Fringe. His first appearance before a wide national audience. The show was a huge success, opening new doors. Him. More than a future engineer, he became real. Performer. While visiting Oxford in 1975, Rowan started his electrical engineering master's. His thesis, published in 1978, serious, rigorous research. However, he increasingly dedicated to performing arts. Contrast between engineering and comedy complicated his life. He kept that technical foundation throughout his life. Years later, he was one of celebrity electric car owners. He bought his first hybrid 18 years before 2023. His first electric automobile was 9 years prior. He used his technical skills to discuss electric vehicle and environmental issues publicly. Despite his engineering knowledge and passion, he loved comedy. The theater became his home. He achieved his first big milestone in 1979. The Atkinson People, his BBC radio show, Radio 3. In the show, he changed characters to fictitious Sir Corin Basin and French philosopher George Dupont. Griff Jones produced and Richard Curtis wrote. The humorous, smart presentation failed to attract a wide audience because ran in a comedy-unfriendly time period. Few listened. However, critics praised his talent. Stereo recording, like the Shoto Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Despite not instantly propelling Rowan's success, showed he was ready for bigger things in his profession. His path was more tumultuous than ever between mid-1978 and 1979. Before. The BBC denied him repeatedly, as if they didn't understand his unique humor. That left him drained and lost at becoming discouraged. Also, his stammer worsened. Auditions and interviews complicate matters. He even pondered quitting comedy to return to engineering, a more stable field. Predictable. Then something happened. Something that transformed everything. He recognized his character changed every time. Stutter disappeared. This discovery inspired him. He knew he didn't need to speak fluently when he was himself. Providing the character spoke on his behalf, everything would be fine. Around that, Rowan worked with some old acquaintances, including Oxford friend Angus Dayton. They performed on the radio, where Angus played a serious, direct man. That dramatic contrast let Rowan unleash his wild, unpredictable comedy. Instincts. Mr. Bean and Blackadder featured Angus. Their chemistry helped Rowan keep grounded when television didn't like him. Thus, he had time to develop without camera pressure. And in 1979, Rowan returns to Edinburgh Fringe. He was 24 back then. People even witnessed him setting up the stage and cleaning the newly opened Wireworks Theater. His show was almost silent, like Buster Keaton's films. Some it was confusing, so audience members left midway. However, many saw something exceptional in how he performed. He used his face and body. Few comedians could match it. Performance helped him connect. Influential industrial figures. He tried television again in 1980. He produced a 1979 pilot called Canned Laughter. He portrayed several parts, including the first Mr. Bean. The show was rejected despite its innovative concept that became a series. The stutter returned many times. Auditions, adding to the pressure. However, he gradually learned to exceed his bounds by fully embracing each character. When he appeared on Wogan in 1980 at 25, he completely covered his stammer during performance. That was the turning point that ended protracted struggle with the illness. After that, the world began observing the odd, silent boy who could channel his grief, make people chuckle. Rowan Atkinson's life changed. Direction. BBC offered him an opportunity in 1979. Join the new comedy show, not the 9 o'clock news. The BBC originally planned to premiere the episode in April, but the general election raised concerns. Content could be political, so transmission was postponed. The first episode aired October 16, 1979, but things went wrong. The viewership was incredibly low. Fewer more than 1 million watched. Criticism was scathing, even saying the show was offensive and should never have aired. Later, Mel Smith became one of Rowan's comedy allies, called it the worst half-hour of TV had ever seen. But something unexpected happened. BBC executive in charge show liked it. He immediately ordered another season. That choice rescued and made the show one of the most influential UK comedies. Rowan worked with Griff Rhys-Jones, Mel Smith, and Pamela Stephenson. People who would become stars. But behind the scenes, things were different. From smooth. Chris left after one season in 1980. He was dismissed. Rowan opposed the judgment and tried to persuade despite his commitment. Producer failed to keep Chris. Chris was replaced, Griffin Jones. Deeply wounded, Chris didn't speak to anyone at the group for years. The BBC decreased the show's funding. The situation became so severe that they made a joke in the extremely costly, not 9 o'clock news. They had to stop filming inexpensive settings and less supporting performers. During this, Rowan's seriousness and meticulous temperament grew. The show's tone changed from shock humor to more sophisticated and offbeat comedy. Creative disagreements behind the scenes become more noticeable. A moment altered everything for Rowan. The second season of 1980 Gerald the Gorilla sketch aired. Mel Smith played a professor that claimed to have trained Gerald the Gorilla. Gerald, Rowan in a gorilla outfit, acted unexpectedly. Sharp, fast, ferocious, temperamental. Gerald exploded when the professor said he caught him in 1968 in the wild. "Oh, I am enraged." That line went viral. The sketch became so popular that scientists joked about baboon troops utilizing the same flange. Performance terminology. The show won silver for this episode. Rose at 1982's Montreux Festival. The sketch received a BAFTA. Finest Light Entertainment. That brief sequence launched Rowan's career. Legendary physical comedian and oddball humorist. It also enabled his later success, Blackadder and Mr. Bean roles. The 1981 event was even more surprising. The CD Hedgehog sandwich included the show's funny tune, I Like Trucking. Soon after, the song became popular. Nobody thought that would happen. Rowan, who has no musical background, could appear on one song that made the charts. But he did it. All four members' ensemble sang the song. Rowan actually drove the truck in the sketch that appeared on screen. He wasn't acting, he already had a first-class lorry driver's license. This minor element made the drawing more real and funny. The BBC-released track was a hit enough to appear on BBC compilation albums. This proved Rowan was more than a comic. He could do much more. He could sing, act, drive, and laugh a variety of shapes. Yet by 1982, that dazzling picture darkened. The show concluded March of that year, no cause related to falling viewership. The real reason was cast members, including Rowan, had exhausted themselves. They were weary. The relentless pace, continual pressure, scripts, performances, growing anxieties, everything became too much to bear. Rowan especially struggled fiercely. He had long struggled with anxiety, and the tremendous workload at that situation tested him to the limit. Instead of clinging to attention, continuing to seek money or glory, they left that Hollywood-bound Pamela Stevenson packed her things. Rowan dove in immediately. 1983 Blackadder Project. Mel Smith and Griff Rhys-Jones invented Alice Smith and Jones display, standing at the peak and leaving very few succeed. That decision showed how Rowan prioritized mental health and creativity over money. On June 15, 1983, Blackadder premiered. It was a brave concept. Rowan and Richard Curtis, his longtime collaborator since not the 9:00 News co-created series. They assumed Richard existed. Battle of Bosworth Field. 3-1. In series, Rowan Prince Edmund, Richard IV clever and power-hungry son, was played. They filmed at Elwick Castle with lavish sets and costumes. The entire project was risky. The Seven Network in Australia funded portion of it. Adding manufactured lines at the introduction adds another joke from Shakespeare solely for comedy. It was creatively groundbreaking and hugely expensive. After one season, the BBC nearly discontinued production due to hefty costs. Cancelled show. Rain ruined shooting days. Castle filming extended the schedule endlessly. Large cast and beautiful period costumes drove the budget to excess. Critical reviews were negative. Many said the series wasn't as funny as Rowan's earlier work. One thing salvaged the show: its international Emmy. That award gave the BBC confidence to give the team another chance. But severe modifications were made this time. No castles, no grandiose settings. The following season would be leaner and sharper. The show's future changed with that choice. The 1986 Blackadder 2 aired. Everything shifted. As co-writer, Ben Elton brought speedier, punchier comedy, tighter framework. They cut lengthy passages and highlighted characters' best moments. Rowan no longer shared the spotlight with experienced actors like Brian Bless. He led the performance this time. One of the most cast changes were significant. Miranda Richardson played Queenie, a lively, flamboyant queen who captivated spectators from the start. Her first screen appearance. The series featured legendary guests. Tom Baker as Redbeard Rum is unforgettable. Edmund became sharper and wittier under Rowan, whereas Baldric, originally smart, became a charming fool that attracted fans instantly. Some devoted viewers first upset by these changes. The critic even named Rowan Wally, an entirely unrelated production, show of the week. Resisting the tone change caused a confusing punch. But public opinion evolved. Viewers noticed this new version was better. Characters were deeper, satire sharper, and cast chemistry was nearly flawless. Blackadder's final season, fourth, broadcast 1989, was unfathomable. Expectations. Rowan played captain in World War I trenches, Blackadder. Hugh Laurie played Lieutenant George, Tony Robinson Private Baldick. The show was funny but serious. Without losing humor, it showed war's futility. Many worried that using World War I as despite appearances, the comedy's backdrop was polite. The show had a huge emotional impact. It won the 1990 BAFTA for Best Comedy Series. Rowan also won Best Light Entertainment. In 2000, the series rated 16th. British Film Institute's top British TV series, BBC viewers voted it the best UK sitcom in 2004 with more than 282,000 votes. The climactic moment, where soldiers come out of the trenches and slowly charge into no man's land, become one of television's most poignant endings. The cast worked together like family behind the scenes. Hugh Laurie, Rowan, Stephen Fry continually improvised on set. They trusted each other greatly. Because there was no pressure, Rowan said this was his least stressful production of his career, but more than just his shoulders. Everyone shared the load. Magic sprang from that remarkable chemical interaction. Final episodes retained many spontaneous lines. Rowan later stated that they did attained in the 1980s was irretrievable. This moment was special. Mr. Bean followed. The first January Von Nina episode drew 1.345 million viewers. Years ago, Rowan conceived this character. The Oxford student was still studying. He played Mr. Bean. He barely spoke. It made the persona ideal for global viewers. Show aired in 245 countries. One episode, The Mr. Bean's Trouble, attracted 18.74 million viewers. It became one of the world's favorite comedies. The audience didn't need to comprehend laugh in English. Physical humor crossed all languages. Yet that laughter hit a deeper truth. Still hurting, Rowan.Mr. Bean wasn't his favorite role. The job stressed him out. It drained him completely. He stated the duty was daunting and he often wanted it to end because the character said little. Rowan had to communicate all emotions only through his body and face, that created emotional strain in his heart. World perceived a simple, light-hearted comedy as exhausting and uncomfortable for the actor. In 1997, Mr. Bean debuted on the big screen. The film's $251 plus gross made it famous worldwide, $1 globally, with international markets contributing alone over $25 million. The film launched at number 1 in Australia, $3.1 million. In Britain, it broke the opening weekend record with $2.1 million and quickly topped $5 million. It grossed almost 12 million Deutsche Marks in its first week in theaters in Germany. It was also the fastest British picture to surpass 100 million even before its US release. But behind that huge triumph was Rowan becomes tired. That Mr. Bean figure had always bothered him. Now, with the world demanding more from him, the pressure on his shoulders only increased more intense. He finally escaped in 2002. Rowan began. The show aired from March 2nd to November 2000. It grew 52 episodes. The animated format was simpler to handle him. Rowan merely needed to speak, no longer perform. The live-action version requires physically hard actions. The animated series took off, recognizable to kids, and migrated to CITV. The animated version introduced various new characters while maintaining the story. This version allowed Mr. Bean to live without injuring Rowan. The series continued developed and ongoing in 2024. Rowan evolved again in 2012, becoming Mr. Bean for the London Olympics. He did a comedy piece. 26.9 million people saw Chariots of Fire at the UK. Approximately 900 million people watched globally. That moment was one of the night's most tweeted. Rowan was fatigued for weeks thereafter. Many believed that was his last moment. Complete Mr. Bean look. Beyond Mr. Bean and Blackadder, Rowan kept audiences guessing. He played an uneasy character in 1994. Priest at 4 weddings, 1 funeral. Little was spent on the picture. Only $3 million and shot in 6 weeks. However, it received a remarkable $245.7 million. Rowan's awful wedding vows played out. Iconic. Even that tiny role shaped his next major character. He became leader in 2003. Role in espionage parody Johnny English. The movie made $160 million globally on a $40 million production budget, and it came from previous Barclay card ads. Rowan did his own stunts, choreography, and distinctive physical comedy stunts. This victory gave him the ability to continue with Johnny English Reborn in 2011. The picture made $8.3 million despite a $45 million budget, the US. However, overseas audiences liked it. Johnny English Strikes Again, the third, opened in 2018. The narrative about digital spying and a cyber strike. Rowan added substance to the role with his Oxford technical understanding. This spy film blended traditional elegance with contemporary technology fears, appealing to people worried about cybercrime. Security. Rowan tried a new position in 2005. Keeping mom. He played a clergyman with family issues. The picture failed to meet its producers' expectations. Critics and audiences were uninterested. Others believed the film was too dark. Peculiar. This disappointment made Rowan stop acting. He took 2 years off to work on TV and reality shows before resuming with Johnny English, Reborn. Atkinson met Sastry in the late 1980s. She was Blackadder's cosmetics artist. Rowan even switched to He changed makeup artists to chat to her. He disappointed co-star Stephen Fry, who wanted to ask her out. But Rowan acted first. Couple started dating and married on New York's Russian tea room, February 5, 1990. Fry was his best man. Their 1993-born daughter Lily and their son Benjamin, 1995. Family stayed together for 24 years till 2014 changed everything. Rowan and Sinatra split that year. The divorce was finalized in November 2015. Sinatra testified that Rowan was unreasonable. Rowan had quietly started arrogance with Louise Ford, much younger than Sinatra. Media coverage spread quickly, and Sinatra was severely saddened by being replaced by someone so young. Rowan experienced another shock in March 2001 that the family's private pilot fainted mid-flight over Kenya after never flying a plane. Rowan took charge and kept it stable. He stabilized the jet until the captain woke up and landed it in Nairobi. Rowan was 46. It made many see him in a different light. Behind Mr. Bean's fumbling face was an incredibly calm man who could save his family lives. He rarely talked about the incident's emotional trauma that if he had reacted much slower, that flight could have been disastrous. By October 2012, many were shocked by Rowan's parliament speech. His message focused on free speech, that he stood for 9 minutes defending free speech, that their thoughts, even if others found their statements insulting. Rowan claimed that society was labeling too many things objectionable, and therefore they required free speech. The speech went viral, garnering over 140,000 views in days. Not everybody agreed with him. Many LGBTQ+ groups and progressive campaigners said he enabled hate speech. However, the law changed. Public Order Act's offensive word ban was abolished. The public realized Rowan was more than a comic. A man of strong convictions, willing to speak. During the 2013 stage play According to Quartermain's terms, Rowan started dating. At the 58 years old, his co-star Louise Ford was 31. Finished her friendship with comedian James Acaster for Rowan. Their romance stemmed from their 27-year age disparity that to be scandalous. This news burst in 2014, coinciding with Rowan and Satra's split. Media and fans slammed them angrily, but Rowan didn't respond. His famous quote, "The one thing not discussing why you're not talking about your private life is more essential, private life." Louise had a baby in December 2017, their daughter Isola. Rowan had another child at 62. He championed the environment for decades. From the 1980s, he spoke up about climate change and drove electric and hybrid cars. Rowan shocked everyone in June 2023 with an article for The Guardian. Headline: "I love EVs and was an early adopter. I feel duped." He said of electric car production, GHG emissions were 70% higher than regular automobiles. He openly ridiculed electric car battery technology. Fox Business and other conservative media outlets covered the article immediately. Environmental scientists strongly disputed his claims as deceptive. People also realized Rowan owned a huge supercar collection, various rare McLaren and Aston Martin cars. Members of Parliament even blamed his essay for impeding UK EV sales. His words were criticized as unintended that helped fossil fuel businesses. He maintained a high-carbon lifestyle. When Disney approached him to play Zazu in The Lion King in 1994, Rowan declined because he did not already hate voiceover work. But he accepted the part and voiced one of the film's best. The Lion King made $968.5 million globally, making it Disney's highest-grossing animated picture. Although he did not return for the 2019 remake, which grossed $1.6 billion, his Zazu portrayal was memorable. What a strange circumstance. He did something he never wanted. One of his greatest achievements. At a 2018 appearance on Rowan revealed a stunning fact on Graham Norton. According to him, he found it exhausting and stressful. He always thought his work was never good enough. Rowan told in 2012, he told Telegraph that observing a man in his 50s act like a child made him want Mr. Bean to resign. Sad. In 2016, He changed his mind and vowed he would never allow the character end. He again suggested Mr. Bean was improbable in 2018, that returning with Never Say Never confused many fans, but it also Rowan struggled to separate himself from the character that gave him his name. Mr. Bean brought laughter to millions. Rowan also carried strain and tiredness. Rowan returned to physical comedy with Netflix's Man in 2022. Against B. He played Trevor, a house caretaker dealing with a mischievous child. B. 9, 10 to 20-minute episodes comprised the series. The show seemed fun, but Rowan found filming really difficult. Even at 67, he had to execute many exploits like those in his Mr. Bean years. Rowan said that during Mr. Bean's vacation, even one scene which required bicycle riding exhausted him. He admitted to never being athletic. The Man vs. Bee show recalled his trademark humorous approach, but it reminded him that his body could no longer handle the effort that once did. Rowan turned 70 on January 6, 2025. Born in Newcastle, he had entertained audiences for over 45 years around the world. Social media went crazy on his birthday. Fans sent endless congratulations and highlighted their favorite memories. While many wondered if Rowan was retiring, he once admitted that as he aged, physical comedy would get harder, that he appeared ready to slow down. Some thought Mr. Bean should be gone forever. As of September 2025, Mr. Bean's YouTube channel have exceeded 12.1 billion views, 35.1 million subscribers. Monthly, the channel generated from 77,232,000 that it averaged 1.5 to 2.3 million daily views. The Mr. Bean fanbase stretched from Tokyo to Mumbai to São Paulo. Even comedy stars like Sacha Baron Cohen cited Mr. Bean's influence. Today, comedy schools teach the Atkinson style, that wordless physical comedy that works anywhere. The people started calling Rowan the 21st century Charlie Chaplin. Century. He went beyond British acting. He was famous worldwide. A long-held fan belief concerning Mr. Bean's origins was validated in September 2024. The viewers thought Mr. Bean was an alien for years. The cartoon show Double Trouble proved it. A spacecraft was where Mr. Bean met his copies. Screen Rant reported that the show confirmed his alien origins. Even the original series opener hinted to this. Mr. Bean falling while Ahi's Latin hymn included "Behold, the man is a being." Nameless Mr. was like a creature from another universe, who didn't understand human names. Rowan suggested this in 1993. It was now a storyline staple. Fans were startled and happy to verify the long-hidden truth. Though always relatively self-doubting, Rowan's awards were impressive. He received 12 major prizes and 18 nominations. His 1981 BAFTA and Lawrence Award were for Not the Ninth Hour News. Review: Rowan Atkinson Olivier Award. Winner of Best Light in 1990 Entertainment Award for Black Adder goes forth. Simply Playing Mr. Bean won him 4 1991 to 1994 BAFTA nominations. He received an International Emmy. Rowan often denied feeling truly successful. Frequently, he questioned himself. For global admirers, there is no need doubt. Rowan is a legend.